Doc, this release says that he won't be bowling for the foreseeable future. How long do you think it would take, and can you see him coming back?
I think he will be coming back. The challenge was to get him back home, to get him to see the rehab team. The focus will be very much on strengthening work around the shoulder. As we can well understand, the shoulder is a complicated joint which moves in different planes. And once he gets the mobility in his shoulder close to where he was previously, I'm sure there's every effort that he can come back.
Happy?
Doc, when will Buren arrive?
Buren's on a flight today, so he'll arrive tomorrow morning.
Sorry, Doc, given that it's in the same area, did you have to do any Did you have to give any explanation, because obviously it's in the same area, and if he's come in with that injury, the rules suggest that you can't really replace someone who comes in with an injury?
So the interesting thing, again, coming with the shoulder is that there involves a lot of structures in the shoulder. So the current pathology is unrelated to what we were concerned about before we arrived into the UK. And obviously we needed to get an independent opinion on that, which we did.
Doc, Lungi Ngidi had a scan yesterday, I think. What was the outcome of that?
Yeah, so Lungi's scan confirmed our clinical diagnosis. He's got a grade 1 strain of a muscle involved in his left hamstring. The clinical return to play picture is usually 7 to 10 days. So Craig Governor, our physiotherapist, is working hard on Lungi currently to get him ready, hopefully, for the next game. If not the next game, then probably the game against Afghanistan in Cardiff.
Thank you very much. Thanks. The floor is now open for Faf du Plessis.
Faf, so much has happened over the last few days. As the leader of this group, where do you see yourself in terms of, you spoke about motivating and then almost harsh words as a sense. Where are you at the moment?
Me personally or the team?
Both.
Both. Yeah, it's really important at a time like this. Obviously, like you're saying, a lot is happening. There's a lot of injuries, 0 from 2. So, for myself, it's really important to stay strong. It's the team will feed off my energy, and they will look up to the leadership group and the team, but I'm obviously at the top of that. So it's important that I stay positive, I stay strong, make sure I keep motivating the guys. The nature of this tournament, you can see there's a lot of teams that are challenging each other on any different day. So there is still hope for us. We've got a lot of cricket left. Before we got here, it was 6 games. It's almost like the par of what you want to try and get. So for now, it's me really staying strong and positive and making sure that the team feeds off that. Naturally, guys will have a little bit of confidence that's been chipped away. That's normal. That's part of being human. But it's just making sure that we keep strong, keep fighting, and stay true to ourselves as a team and a culture.
Faf, what does the loss of Dale mean to the team?
Yes, as I said, Ken, it's injuries is absolutely never part of what you want to do when you come to a tournament like this. I've said to you guys so many times that our X factor as a team is going to depend on how brilliant our bowling attack is. And at the moment, the hard fact is that Lungi and Dale is 2 of those players that are not on the field. We haven't had one game where we haven't had our strongest 11 playing on the field yet. So that is challenging. But unfortunately, you don't get a pass for having injuries. You're still going to make sure that your squad is strong enough. You try and plan to have backup plans for when you do have 1 or 2 injuries. Obviously, it's a little bit more than we've hoped. And that changes everything for us from a balance point of view. But we still got to get on the park and make sure we put in performances to make us as a team part of it and also our country part of it.
Faf,
You said it's note from 2 already, so do you and the team feel that tomorrow is make or break concerning the World Cup?
I said 6 games is the target. So with 7 games left, it would be great if we can start that tomorrow. We've got some. I mean, there's no easy games anymore in a World Cup. We've seen that. Bangladesh played unbelievable cricket the previous game. So just now watching Afghanistan, looks like they're turning over Sri Lanka as well. So you got to be on top of your game, and I think we need to obviously try and start that tomorrow. 6 games is still the overall goal.
Given everything that's happened, is it a case of nothing to lose going into tomorrow? I mean, things can't get worse than what they are now.
Thanks for that, Ben. It's whether it's winning or losing, we've got the main thing is getting to the semi-finals, and we haven't started well. So for me, it's like I said after the previous batch to you, it's purely just our skills needs to be upgraded. It's nothing else. It's if we can deliver our skills, then we will be in good positions. We will win games of cricket, but at the moment we haven't been there. So hopefully it's just a case of us getting better every game, and if that's the case, then great. Then we will start playing better cricket.
Faf, the general trend so far has been to bowl first. Yourself have done it. So what is the reason behind it? Is the weather or pitch? And what do you think of the current pitch?
Previously, the 2 previous games, statistically, when you play at the Oval, the stats are quite in favour of bowling first. Starting at 10:30, that's generally the thinking. And as I said, the previous game, there was a lot of discussion regarding the toss. Actually, I hoped that I could lose the toss. It was that unsure, but that didn't happen. So obviously, looking back on it now, when you're playing on a used pitch and a team gets a score, then obviously you'll change that decision straight away. But I don't think there's any trend. I think most of the guys think because it's a 10:30 start, there might be something in that first hour, but there's not. We haven't discussed it saying that we have to bowl first or have to bat first. Literally look at the wicket, and then we've got a lot of guys in our dressing room that's played a lot of cricket, county cricket, coached in county cricket. So, our coach was with England for 4 or 5 years. So you tap into his knowledge on conditions. I ask him a lot of questions when I'm not sure, and then rely on guys that are more sure than me on the day because you trust them being here more than me.
Faf, before the tournament, you emphasised the fact that bowling will be your strong point. The fact that half that bowling attack is now either injured or gone completely, within the parameters of the squad that you've already chosen, can you change your game plan and emphasise other strengths within the team?
Yeah, I think we'll have to relook at that now. There's only 14 players to pick from now, so there's not a lot of options in terms of a bowling attack. You decide if you want to go with all your all-rounders in one team and have a long batting lineup, and as you say, probably change your game plan a little bit and bat up until 9, and hopefully you can get a big score or chase anything because you have a lot of batting. All the all the 2 spinners. Obviously this ground will, I don't think that spinners played that big a role, but still Sharma is an attacking bowler for us. So those are the 2 options we're weighing up, and as I said, there's not much other options.
Hi, Faf. You had said that you might be using harsh words for the match. Did you have to use it? And secondly, with so many injuries with Steyn, Amla, Negiri, it could be almost understandable if a sense of self-pity almost comes into some of the youngsters. So how are you addressing that as well?
Yeah, it was more that angle. For me, the natural thing that happens in a team like that is you find that your confidence goes down, and naturally younger guys in the team, coming to their first World Cup, they will potentially go into the self-pity cycle. So for me, it was strong words in the sense that won't be allowed over the next couple of days. It's important for us to stay strong in this time, because if you do slightly go away from that, then as a team you can just crumble. And unfortunately, we're not in a position where we can afford that. We can't control results, we can't control the outcome. What we can control is how strong we are mentally, how well we're training, what sort of language are we using in the dressing room, is it positive? So for me, that was more the main focus, making sure that the guys are still saying the right things in the team, not questioning themselves, because then it's a slippery slope. Then you will just keep going further and further backwards.
Faf, Rabada's called Kohli immature in the run-up to this game and says he can't take abuse. Do you think that might come back to haunt him and also you when you play?
There's a lot of other things haunting me at the moment. I don't know the context of that, what was said in that article. I think it was mentioned in the IPL, so yeah, for me to comment on that, not sure what the context was. But I mean, Virat is a great player. Virat, whether you say something bad into the media or team or you say something good, he's still going to rock up a good play at the match. So I don't think that makes too much of a difference.
Faf, I'm sure it's a pretty obvious answer, but how's Dale doing?
It's important for us to be strong for him. You know, Dale has tried really hard to try and get back into the team. It's been a tough 2.5 years for him, and he would need support right now. And it's important that us as the team and the management make sure that there's things in place for him to assist him, to be there for him. You know, he needs love at the moment. You know, it's a tough time for him. He tried really hard to get fit for this campaign. He was bowling unbelievably well in the lead up to this tournament. In the IPL, he was at his best. Unfortunately, that had happened there in the IPL in those 2 games that he played there. If he didn't get picked up to go to the IPL, you know, who knows where Dale would have been right now. But that we can't control that. So yeah, it's important for me that we just make sure that we are there for them, because I know he's been trying hard to make sure that he's ready to try and make an impact on which will be his last World Cup.
Will Dale, over here, Faf, will Dale be staying with the team, and also did he come to the team management with the decision about his shoulder? Was it in his mind to make a decision now with all the injuries?
I think he's going home soon. We're just waiting on arrangements, so he won't be staying with the team. Yeah, the process has been from the beginning that there would need to be some sort of cut-off time for Dale, to be fair to the rest of the squad, to be fair to, you know, picking players that are available out of 15, you know, and Dale, the management gave him that extended period of time because it is Dale staying, and you want to give him as long as possible, because even him being ready for the next game or the game after that would still be a huge asset for us as a team. But the medical decision was made that because his shoulder was weak after bowling and he couldn't really get a second spell in again, that it would be very challenging to get him at full 100% match intensity to be ready for a World Cup game. So a decision was made, and by the medical group and the coach to say that they feel that time's run out.
Faf, you've led by example your whole career, and I don't think it's very difficult to get your players to follow you. But something like this, the Dale thing and the results and the other injuries, this is a hell of a test for your leadership.
Yeah.
How are you managing that test?
As I said, I mean, I have to front up to it. You know, I remember you asking me before the World Cup. It's probably not our strongest team that we've ever had coming here, and is it the right or the wrong time? That's not my choice. My position that I'm in is I'm the captain of the team right now, and players are looking for someone to lead them. So all I can do is try my absolute best to try and do that. Once again, that doesn't mean results. I wish it did, because then it would be great. But yeah, for me, it's just I'm trying to make sure that I stay positive for the team, I stay strong. Encourage the other guys in the team, the other leaders in the group to also stay strong. At no stage in the game can we as a senior player group look like we are down and out. It's just not an option for us. We are very, very proud cricketing nation. So no matter how bad it gets or how good it gets, I'll make sure that I'll keep driving that.
Faf, obviously it's in retrospect, but do you kind of feel that South Africa put all their eggs in one basket with the sort of fast bowling strategy? And if you could just clear up there seemed to be a bit of confusion at the end of the Bangladesh game in the death overs, just about Yorkers and what length the guys should be bowling. What message are you giving to the bowlers, in those last 5 overs?
Sure. Okay, I'll start with that second part. Yeah, I thought the build up to that last five overs, the bowlers were excellent, and they were probably going at a runner ball on a good wicket by just staying back off a length. So I think I know that the plan was, with a big side of the boundary to make sure that you have 3 options. That was the discussions between me and the bowlers. And those 3 options are the same always. It's important not to be lined up as a bowler. So with every field that you set, or that I set towards a bowler, there's an option of taking 3 balls. And on that particular long boundary, Yorker is always still an option. It's Yorker, pace of the ball, and bumper, which were the 3 options. And obviously we over-relied on the fact that we could just bowl back of a length and slow balls. There was, as I said after the game, KG had a chance there to take a catch on the boundary, which he missed. And if he took that, it would have been a whole different story. And then one just went over David's head. So yeah, the plan is never just to go one thing. There's always 3 options that a bowler has that he can execute with any different field. So obviously, in hindsight, yes, a few Yorkers would have been a better option. What was your first part?
Eggs all in one basket.
I think we did. As you can see right now, there is a plan in place for the worst case scenario, which is losing our bowling attack. So now you have to go back to your all-rounders, which we felt was what has been our strategy in the past. As I said last time, we came here the previous, I think, Champions Trophy with a lot of all-rounders, Parnell, Morris, guys like that. So we batted 7, 8, 9. So we're back to that now, back to that option, where you have a lot of all-rounders and not a lot of specialists. So I think we planned for it. As I said, we didn't plan to lose Andrich, Dale, and Lungi, but that's obviously happened now. So we still got enough options.
Faf, there's a lot of talk about how you're going to lead the side and what you're going to do, but the side's 0-2. They're playing India tomorrow. It's probably the biggest game. Does anybody in that dressing room need somebody to be spoken to get up for tomorrow?
As I said, I think naturally what happens is you just got to manage people's confidence, because that's the thing that was, especially after the last game. As professional cricketers, we want to do well, we want to win games, and we don't want to go 0 from 2. So that's the big thing that I picked up. That is important for us to change direction. That we don't, as I said, don't go take a left turn into negative town. Stay positive, stay strong, make sure we keep pushing. But we are playing probably the world's number 2 team at the moment, tomorrow. And it's going to be a huge challenge. But something we've always been good at is when our backs are against the wall, we fight. So hopefully we'll see a lot of that tomorrow and hopefully get a good result.